It's the last match of the Australian Open as world #1 Pete Sampras bids for a 9th Grand Slam title against the surprise package of the tournament, Carlos Moya, who's already beaten Boris Becker and Michael Chang. And we'll also see who'll win the mixed doubles title. Well, of course, it all began almost 2 weeks ago, the very first day of the tournament, and what a shock we were in for as Boris Becker, the defending champion, found himself up against an inspired Spaniard, 20-year-old Carlos Moya, ranked 25 in the world. He was going to cause an immense upset. Thwacking big forehands from every corner of the court, he reached match point in the 5th set. What a start to the first Grand Slam of the year. The defending champion bumped out 6-4 in the 5th in the very first round. And Moya was soon following up for Carlos Moya. He beat Chang in 3 straight sets. Pete Sampras started against 2 Romanians, Dinu Pescariu and Adrian Voiner, and then he thumped Mark Woodford, who went on with Todd Woodbridge, of course, to win the doubles title, but he could gain only 2 games from Slovakia, the youngest man in the world's top 100. Well, he was to prove much more difficult from Sampras, who at one stage was 2-4 down in the 5th set. But Sampras turned it around in the heat. A crucial win for the world's #1. And Paul Anico and his coach on his feet applauding a come-from-behind victory. Into the quarterfinals then, a match with Albert Costa, one of 3 Spaniards to reach the last 8. Again, it went to a 5th set. And again, it was Sampras who came through in the end. (6-2) in the 5th. Sampras into the semis to take on the Iron Man. And Sampras even going round the net. You don't have to go over it. There was nothing he couldn't do. And the King of Clay seemed to have feet of clay as Sampras took him to the cleaners in straight sets. Yes, all Thomas could do was to bow in submission. The world #1. It was magic from Sampras. But what did he think about playing Moya?
He'll go for the big shots and he'll hit the big forehand, and it's just you know, a matter of holding on my serve and playing good solid service games. You know, we had nothing to lose, and so I've been in the situation before, and hopefully I'll come out ahead.
What about Moya? Was he at all worried about facing the world's #1 for the first time?
Well, he's #1, but I beat #2 and #6. Then I'm not gonna go to the court as a loser. And in the final, there were 128 players the first day. Now we are only 2, and everything can happen.
And these were the only 2 men left in the tournament. Pete Sampras and Carlos Moya coming onto court for the final. Pete Sampras, the man who's been world #1 at the end of each of the last 3 years. A wonderful record in Grand Slam finals. This was his 11th, And of the previous 10, he'd won 8. Wayne McEwen from Sydney was in the chair for the match. Carlos Moya, of course, playing his first Grand Slam final and assured win or lose of moving into the world's top 10 for the first time. They dubbed him King Carlos. But could he withstand the pressure of such a big occasion and the pressure that Sampras, watched by his coach, Paul Annacone, would undoubtedly pile on. Manuel Santana, the great Spaniard, there to see Moya. Well, that was the first point that Moya had lost on serve. It's 1-2 in the first set. Moya had held his opening service game to love. Sampras winning his first 2 service games pretty comfortably as well, but as he is wont to do, snapping a string. $15,000 capacity crowd basking in sunshine, but a little bit of a breeze to cool them down. Players competing for a first prize of £280,000. Runner-up to receive $140,000. Just the first signs of a little bit of nervousness from Moya. Normally that forehand has been so reliable through the championships. And another miss on the forehand, giving Sampras a break point. Sampras even winning the long battles from the baseline, and the American away to the perfect start. 3-1 lead. And in the next game, Sampras at 40-30, a point for a 4-1 lead. So Sampras into a 4-1 lead, and we'll pick up the action after the break, and I'll be joined in the commentary booth by Bob Hewitt. Serving 1-4 first set. Well, I don't know whether Sampras lost that one. Certainly wasn't far wide of him. Second ace. Still not timing his favourite shot, and that must be worrying. With a big hand, all the neutrals in the crowd obviously want this to be a terrific contest. And hopefully that good service game will help Carlos Moya to relax and begin to play the tennis we all know he's capable of.
15.
Just having a little look, as if the ball perhaps was either wide or long. It was, if it wasn't, then it was right in the corner.
Right. That's.
That's all good experience, both for Costa and for Moya, to face a big server like Sampras and see if you can't get the return down low. In fact, both have struggled to do so.
First double fault of the match. Yes, now those were the shots he's been making earlier in the tournament. Those half chances on the forehand. Much better service return to set it up. Sampras comparatively untroubled on serve so far. He's conceded just 6 points, and this was always going to be the test for Moya, wasn't it, Bob? Coping with someone really hitting the ball hard, where you have to really shorten your swing a little bit, particularly on the service return.
Well, if you don't shorten your backswing, then you have to stand back a meter, perhaps even 2 meters. If you stand back, then you're just letting Sampras get closer to the net. Admittedly, you may come up with a better return of serve, one that you're more used to because of the full backswing. But the theory is that you should be standing where you normally would stand, and you should be standing round about the baseline anyway, and just punch or block the return of serve. Sounds like by saying that I'm firmly, it still goes back. Because of the tremendous speed of the ball that comes at you, the ball will still go back fairly quick. But you've got to get it to dip. You've got to force the volleyer to volley up, and he hasn't been able to do that.
Always love that shot we were seeing there of the ball kids here. Paul Anaker now in your picture. We've obviously not too many matches outside, just some junior matches, some veterans matches going on today. So those not on duty get a chance to come in and watch some of the action, and they'll move them around so that everybody gets a chance to see the final. Well, a lot of people in that area, convinced the ball was out on Moya's baseline.
I think he was in our way. Well, I'm not sure that we can completely and utterly disagree with them.
And this time, Sampras a little surprised by a second serve. Well, that one was definitely on the line because you saw how it really skidded through, and that's what caught Moya by surprise. So problems now for the Spaniard. 2-5, 15-30. Oh dear. Well, that's an elementary error from Moya, and these are 2 set points for Sampras. Very convincing opening set for the world number 1, who of course will stay world number 1 whatever happens today. And whatever happens, this man will move into the top 10 for the first time, at number 6 if he wins, or number 9 if he loses. So nonchalant.
Well, I must be honest, I'm quite surprised at the ease of which Sampras has won the first set. And he's such a good front runner now that he's won the first set. You know he's not going to relax. He's going to continue to pile on the pressure. So now it's up to Moya to find a way to answer that pressure. Not going to do it that way.
4th ace. Super stuff from Sampras, not giving any quarter at all to his opponent. The Greek flag flying as well as the stars and stripes. Ford Australian Open. There's that whip forehand into the forehand corner that Sampras likes so much, and again Moya, well, perhaps not having the time, really struggling. Ooh. He's not going to get an overall on that, because I can tell you the umpire follows the ball, obviously. The line judge looks at the line, and you just can't keep up. It's going too fast. You don't see it.
Well, one expected Moya to be controlling the baseline rallies, just like you would expect Muster to have done that against Sampras, but Sampras is able to control simply because the forehand today, more so than against Muster, is really working very, very well in terms of power and control.
Not just the forehand.
Not just the forehand, you're right. Played that well, that point so well.
2 break points for Sampras then, to leave him serving for a 2-sets-to-love lead. Store that one away for posterity. There won't be a better rally than that. I've no idea whether the last volley from Moya was out, incidentally. It might well have been, but who cares?
Yes, I have a feeling it might have been out, but I agree with you. Who cares? What a great rally. Well, I'm trying to listen to the sound, the ball on the racket when Moya hits his forehand, and it doesn't sound very sweet. He stopped there. He thought perhaps his forehand was going out. He played the terrible drop volley there, and he anticipated well. And we won't get a chance to see if that last one, the angle volley, was in or out.
Sampras serving for the set, and that time Moya getting a little lucky. His mishit landing on the line. Sampras thinking it was going long. Two set points for 2-sets-to-love. First overrule of the match. And no protest. It might well have been a line judge being unsighted. And Sampras has this final by the throat. 6-2, 6-3 he leads. Only a 5th ace from Sampras, which is a little bit of a surprise. He normally sort of averages 5 a set.
Someone yelling out, get it up to 200. That one was 195 kilometers an hour.
But again, furious with the baseline judge.
Well, it may have touched the line, it may have been out, but it certainly wasn't that far out if it was out.
I was going to say he's obviously been a fisherman then on the island of Mallorca.
Yeah. Let's have a look here and see. I don't know. He's really not getting the power on the forehand that we've seen in the first 6 matches of the tournament thus far. Today he's getting a lot more topspin than normal, and that always takes away power.
Third deuce, longest game of the match.
Can't string 2 points together, Moya. He needs to. He's got to find so many ways to hold his serve. That's his coach there.
Jose Pelas. Oh dear. Well, it was clever from Sampras because you could see he was, as we all were, in 2 minds as to whether the ball was going to swing back in. It did. A lot of side spin on this one. And he'd covered the ball so that he could play a shot. But what an awful miss. And it's given Sampras break point. Well, it was going to be difficult for Moya to come back from 2 sets to love. Frankly, now the task is looking almost impossible. 2 sets to love and a break. Sampras heading for the title.
The Ski Jump World Cup.
Third set and leading by 2 sets to love. And all of a sudden the ace is beginning to flow. That's 3 in a row because he ended the last service game with 2, and he's up to 9 in total. Well, that's one of the very few occasions where he's really strung some forehands together.
Well, it's a pretty good serve. It's a great returner serve, and a superlative angle on the forehand pass.
Well, he's looking and muttering, and I suspect he's not muttering about the line judge. He's muttering about this fellow who's flinging all these aces at him all of a sudden. Seven aces in this set from Sampras. Sampras is within 1 game of his 9th Grand Slam title. New balls. Moya serving to stay in the match. Third double fault. I think some photographers and ball kids getting a little too close. Three championship points. Sampras has proved again that he's the best player in the world. A 9th Grand Slam title for the American. Sadly, not a great final. Sadly, Moya, to a certain extent, was perhaps overwhelmed by the occasion, but he was also overwhelmed by a really good player.
Yes, he certainly was. And one statistic that's fascinating to me is that Sampras broke the serve of Moya 6 times. He only had 6 opportunities to do that, and that is really freakish. He did a good job. He played superlatively well. He put the pressure on his opponent. He never at any stage let his opponent settle down into the match, although, to be fair, in the 3rd game of the 2nd set, when Moya broke, we thought that perhaps Moya was about to come back in. He never did come back. It's been a marvelous tournament for the young man. He's come from, I don't even know what his ranking was before.
25.
Yeah, he's down to 9 in the world, which means that he's a great player. He's going to continue to improve. He's got to think of himself, well, I played 6 great matches. Okay, the final wasn't too good, but he's got to think in terms of what I did for the tournament. I beat a couple of good players. I beat the defending champion. I beat the defending finalist last year. So this has been good. It's a good experience if he makes it a good experience.
Yeah. We saw Paul McNamee, the tournament director, just walking through our screens. Pete Sampras smiling and joking with his entourage. I don't think he's got any plans to jump in the Yarra River as Jim Courier used to do. There's Paul McNamee. We will bring you the presentation in a few minutes' time. It was Carlos Moya who went up first to receive the runners-up check and plate. The plate from Jeff Pollard, the president of Tennis Australia, and the kangaroo, and the consolation of the runners-up check of £140,000, some 292,500 Australian dollars. Not a great final for him,
and now the winner of the
but
Norman
a
Brooks
great
Challenge
week.
Cup, the Ford Australian Open champion for 1997, Pistol Pete Sampras.
A 2nd Australian Open title for Sampras, his 9th Grand Slam, and he's now just 3 behind the record of Roy Emerson, who won 12 Grand Slam singles titles. £280,000, and of course he consolidates his hold on the world #1 ranking. Let's hear from the 2 finalists, starting with the champion.
I played really, really well, especially my last 3 matches here. I really had to fight hard. This is the toughest major I think I've won on as far as physically, with the heat and the heavy balls, and to come through, you know, it was a good effort. I'm happy the way I played.
I didn't feel comfortable in any moment of the match because of his forehand with my, when I was serving, I didn't feel comfortable, and that's the key of the match: his forehand and his serve.
It's a very honest assessment, that one, from Carlos Moya. But he's made giant strides throughout the fortnight. Sampras, though, is the champion. Well, earlier in the day, we'd had the mixed doubles final. A terrific scrap it was. This is Manon Bollegraf featuring Rick Leach against Larissa Neyland and John Lafney de Jager. Left-handed Rick Leach from the United States with a Dutch partner and a South African-Latvian partnership. Well, the first set went to Bollegraf and Leach, 6-3. Back came their opponents to claim the second on a tiebreak. And they were to serve for the match in the third set, but they couldn't put it away. Now that brilliant poach from Rick Leach gave him and Manon Bollegraf the title, 7-5 in the final set. Perhaps the most competitive final of this year's Ford Australian Open. The extensive coverage of the second Grand Slam, the French Open from Roland Garros, starts the last week of May and continues the first week of June. Plenty of action, though, from the ATP and WTA tours coming up, starting with Zagreb on Thursday. We'll leave you with some of the memories, the great memories, of this year's Ford Australian Open from Frew McMillan, Bob Hewitt, Simon Reed and myself, David Mercer. Thanks for your company over the last fortnight. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
I love you too, babe.